Corsair made a water cooling kit. This is fantastic for anyone just beginning water cooling. There are so many water cooling companies out there, and previously everyone had to get their own tubes, make sure they purchased the right size fittings for their loops. Now it is all in one package. You beginners no longer need to stress about what water cooling parts to buy anymore. So let's see what Corsair have to offer. So this is the brand new kit from Corsair, the XH305i RGB Pro in white. That one's a bit of a tongue twister. So from what I can see here on the back, it comes with all of the essentials for your custom water cooling loop apart from the GPU loop. So if you did want to water cool the GPU, you will have to purchase that separately. I have noticed as well that you will need a heat gun. So let's get this thing unboxed. Check out that packaging. So starting things off, we have the Corsair Hydro X bending kit. This is for 12 and 14 millimeter tubes. Because the insert of a 14mm tube is the exact same as a 12mm tube. It's just that the 14mm tubes have a thicker wall. So we've got the tube insert. We've also got the deburring tool, and what this does is when you have a tube, you need to make sure that the edges are smooth so that it doesn't split the O-ring inside of the tubes. Otherwise, you're going to have leaks and that throughout the system, and that's not what we want. The other side is also a deburring part for the inside. So if you have any loose cuts on the inside, you can actually remove them so that they don't get stuck in all the fins in the CPU block and the GPU block. This particular tool right here is fairly interesting. It pretty much sits on the side of the table, and you can actually lock your tubes in place and create the cut where you need it. Now, to create that cut, you're gonna need one of these hand saws. Now the blades on these, they're actually made for cutting plastics. They're nice and fine. You don't wanna use a regular blade, which would be for like woodworking, because they're so coarse, and that's just gonna ruin the end of the tube, and then you're gonna have to deburr all of that out. Really nice. We also have a tube bending tool. This is to assist with bends. It also has these different sections here, which are 10mm increments. So the first one is 30mm, and then it goes up by 10 depending on how long you want the tube, or you can just go all the way through and have a nice sort of S-bend. Also got a little squeezy bottle. This is an easy way of filling up the loop. What is in this box? Okay, so we've got a little lighting node here. I really feel like these lighting nodes should be integrated into the Corsair Commander Pro, because it's just one extra thing that you have at the back of the PC, which we really don't need. Speaking of the Corsair Commander Pro, here it is. This simply goes at the back of the system. It controls your fans and your lighting all in one hub. So Corsair everything, Corsair lighting, what more do you want? Ooh, this is the Corsair XC7 RGB Pro CPU block in white. This is a full copper block, and it's actually compatible with LGA 1700 socket, but it's also backwards compatible. So if you have an older motherboard, you can still use one of these. Let me know if you guys want to see a white build with this CPU block in the near future. Okay, so it looks like Corsair sends out some of their clear liquid for the build. So if you'd like to add in some color, then you're gonna need to find some dyes, or you might have to purchase your own liquid separately. But clear, it's really good for maintenance. And I think that anyone buying a kit like this, they're gonna be brand new water coolers who don't really know what to look for in terms of fitting size, tubing size. So clear liquid's also gonna provide less maintenance for the system, because you're not gonna be, clouding up the loop with gunk and things like that. So really nice. So this particular kit actually comes with 3 RGB fans. These are the Corsair QL120 RGB fans. These particular ones are in white, so you can actually get a black kit as well. You get 3 of them because it comes with a 360mm radiator. It's actually really cool that Corsair is implementing fans with the water cooling kit as well, because you know that you have enough fans for the radiator itself, so it's going to be nice, efficient cooling. No worries there. Speaking of the radiator, we have the XR5 360 in white. So this is a 30mm thick radiator. This particular one, white in color again, so it goes with the whole color scheme of the kit. And as I said, you can get it in black as well. Now, if you have more of a higher end system, say an RTX 3080 and 12900K, I would say that you probably need to get a second radiator if you want to chuck in a GPU into the loop. We also have some tubing for this system. This isn't their 1 meter kit. They actually sell longer tubes. So if you plan on making a huge tube run, then this, it's gonna be hard to reach from one. It depends on your case really, what size it is. But these particular tubes, 500 millimeters, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get 6 tubes. So one thing that I would be worried about as a new user is, I know that tube bending can be quite difficult for new users, and I always say to get more tubes than you need. A lot of people do ruin their first bends. They might come up too short and then it doesn't reach the fittings on both sides. Anything could happen. So I would recommend perhaps purchasing a few more tubes as a beginner. If you know what you're doing and you want to buy this kit, then this might be enough for you. So again, we've got a res pump combo. This particular res pump combo is a D5 and it's already opened for some reason. Not too sure why it's already split, but we'll just take that off anyway. So as I said, D5 pump, that's gonna be good for the system because you can actually turn D5 pumps down as well, and you can actually push more volume at a silent operation. So if you really want a silent system, D5 pump is the way. If you have a bigger loop as well, D5 pump is able to handle the pressure of a bigger loop more than a DDC pump. So this is what you get in the kit, a nice white one, goes with our theme. I feel a white build coming on. So last but not least with this kit, we actually have some Corsair fittings. These, they usually come in boxes, but I think they've just saved on some packaging and we've got them in some bubble wrap, which is fine with us, but let's go ahead and get these on open and see how many fittings we've got. So in the kit, we've actually got 8 of these compression fittings and 2 of these 90-degree fittings. Now, I would say that the 90-degree fittings, they're gonna be for tight spaces, perhaps up at the radiator where you wanna, come straight out at a 90-degree angle. They're gonna require 2 fittings right there. So we actually have enough just for the CPU loop alone. Now, the cool thing about receiving all of this in one kit is you already know that the tubing size is going to be perfect fit for these fittings. Well, you would at least hope so. I mean, there's something very wrong if you receive the wrong tubing size for these particular fittings. So I think water cooling has come quite a long way since we first started. With the addition of these types of kits, we're able to just make it more user-friendly and reach a broader audience who want to actually try custom water cooling for themselves. One thing I would love to see from Corsair is perhaps if they could make their fans daisy chain so that you've got less cables at the back hooking up to the Commander Pro, because I think the Commander Pro, as well as the lighting node, could daunt people a bit, especially new users. People with experience, they have no issues with that, but there's so much cable clutter between all of that, creating a nest at the back of the system. Apart from that, the addition of the kit certainly saves a water cooling novice some headaches. So what do you think of this kit? Let us know in the comments below, and we hope you enjoyed